Hello, friendships, and welcome to the We Are Growing podcast. I'm your host, Ava Medina, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a repeat listener, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have every single one of you, and I am hopeful to share some good information. So, as we have been on our self compassion mini series, we are here wrapping it up with episode 6, the third episode in this mini series, and then we will be jumping into a new mini series whose theme I have not developed yet. But this episode is all about self compassion, and I want to tie it back to the theme of what we are trying to do here, which is, of course, to grow into our best selves. So, this episode is all about harnessing self compassion for goal achievement and personal growth. It is certainly something that has aided my personal growth, something I'm excited to share with you. It is, of course, always personal essay style, just my trials and tribulations brought to you in case that they spark something or just solidarity in the journey of personal growth and just trying to be your best self. Not too many housekeeping things today. I think we're just going to go ahead and jump into the episode. So, here we are in our self-compassion. We will, of course, always be covering 3 points, and I'll just be leading you through those as we go. First part, where we got to start with using self-compassion in goal achievement and personal growth, is the role of self-compassion in your goal setting, in your journey, in everything, in the process of achieving goals, of getting there, of not getting there. Self-compassion should play such a huge role because it really helps you grow as a person, to not constantly be criticizing yourself and to allow yourself a safe space to learn new things that you've never learned before. So, why self-criticism doesn't work? I really want to touch on that. Why the self-critic and indulging the self-critic and feeding that self-critic does not work for your growth. Because you being hard on yourself will lead to burnout and to avoidance of the thing that you're trying to do. You know, like if you are trying to learn to cook for the first time and you've never really cooked, the most you've gotten close to that, is a cooking show. So maybe you know some things, maybe you know nothing. And I don't know if you've seen that show, like Worst Cooks in America. Like people, everything is a learned skill. Everything is a skill. You can learn anything. Some things will be more innate to someone. Let's say they have like a really sensitive palate or just a sensitive sense of smell. So they're really good with spices. Some people might have something that makes their journey or what they're trying to learn, like cooking, easier. That does not mean that you cannot say, attain the same level of mastery as that other person. Some people will have things that, more emotional intelligence than the next person, higher IQ, just a better athleticism. We are all unique individuals and our DNA plays a role in this, of course. So we will have things that are just a little bit more innate to us than others. But everything, absolutely everything is a learned skill. So when your self-critic wants to tell you, well, you've burned, 3 dishes in a row in your journey to learn how to cook, this just isn't for you. You're just a bad cook. That's a lie. That's you kind of lying to yourself. That thought in and of itself is just trying to gaslight you. Everything is a skill. It is perfectly fine to stumble the first couple, to burn the first 3 dishes. Like pancake batter, the first pancake's always a tester. Everybody, I've been making pancakes for years. Every time the first pancake is a tester. It's going to come out looking bad and maybe half cooked or maybe way overdone. It just is. We are not perfect. No one is perfect. We do not achieve perfectionism. We achieve mastery. We achieve through our own efforts a level of mastery at a skill through practice, through repetition. So indulging your self-critic wants to tell you, you just can't cook. You just can't do your finances. You just can't build a business. You just can't run 5 miles. Whatever it wants to tell you is, it's a lie. That's a lie. That's a false narrative that we are fed by maybe teachers or our parents or society. Certainly, I was fed in school, if I didn't automatically achieve mastery at something that I was doing, that I just shouldn't do it. I was just bad at it. Just don't do it. That is so incorrect. If you want to do something, put your full effort. My mom used to have such a common phrase, and it was like, be the best at what you're doing. Like, if you're going to pack boxes all day, be the best box packer in the factory. Be the best person there. If you are going to garden, be the best gardener. Be the best at what you are trying to do through practice, through repetition. It's less about how long you're doing something and more how many times you can do it. If you've been, cooking for a year, but you've only do it once a week versus someone who does it twice a day, practice, that repetition is going to take you so far. So yeah, indulging your self-critic just makes it harder. This is a skill you want to learn. You need to put in the hours, you need to put in the time. And every time that you go to do it, if you have someone berating you in your head, you're just going to be like, nah, I'm not going to do it. That's why self-criticism doesn't work. And when you are using self-compassion in your journey, I would definitely recommend setting like compassionate goals that are supportive to you, to your journey, to what you're trying to achieve, and are constructive. They're not way out there on the moon. They are things that should be a dream goal, like should be crazy and wild, and then it should be brought down to your level. Like the task that you set to accomplish your crazy dream goal should be supportive and constructive. You, of course, shouldn't be out there doing harm to anyone, including yourself. You shouldn't be placing so much on yourself that you are harming yourself by the amount of pressure or stress or work that you're trying to accomplish. Remember, these are sustainable changes. And if we pile a ton of stuff on our plate and suddenly, we're dropping things, it's frustrating to ourselves. We need to make sure that we don't set ourselves up for failure in the first place. It all starts there. In this using self-compassion in your goal setting, you want to maintain flexibility in your growth. A growth mindset, a flexible mindset is so important to this, and self-compassion helps you achieve that. Honestly, I feel like one feeds the other, like both of them feed each other here. Your growth mindset in adaptability is so important, and in that, kindness. Because in order to adapt, you have to acknowledge that what you're doing isn't working. You have to acknowledge with kindness, without feeding your critic, this is not you have failed. This is just, hey, I am taking in the data. I'm taking in all of the feedback, all of the critiques. I'm taking it in and I'm seeing that this path I'm doing, this is not working. This business venture I'm trying, this recipe, this type of cooking, this type of running or exercise, it's not working. It's making me feel bad. I'm not getting great results. I need to change. I need to pivot. Like maybe full running isn't what I'm about, but I like hard cardio. So maybe like a HIIT training, or like I'm trying all this French food. I just can't get a custard to save my life. Like maybe I need to switch. Maybe I need to try like Latin food and try cooking something else. That is so important, to be able to acknowledge that what you are doing in this moment is not working. Build on the lessons. I still want to do cooking. This dish felt easier than most. Maybe I pivot into this direction, or this type of food, or this kind of exercise felt easier to do than the rest in the middle of your, health journey. So we're going to go in this direction. That flexibility is everything, because if you're so set, if you're so rigid on what your goal looks like, of what success looks like, it might not be that way. That might not be what it looks like. You have to be open to the fact that we are constantly changing. That is the only constant, that we will always change. You have to check in with yourself. and be like, is this path still me? Am I still going down the path I want to go on? And that flexibility, that growth mindset is everything when it comes to that. Being able to treat yourself with compassion, to offer yourself a safe space to go, I don't think, I'm 6 years into my degree. I don't think this is what I want to do with my life. It takes a lot. It takes so much compassion for yourself, such a safe space to be able to have honest conversations with yourself. Maybe this isn't the path I want to be on. I'm like, I'm 6 years, I'm 8 years into a career, I'm 6 years into school. Maybe I'm just 1 year into trying this relationship. This is just not working. This is not fitting me. This is not what I want out of my life. And to be able to sit with yourself in your safe space and have that conversation, that hard conversation, and go, well, you're a quitter, to not be able to be able to have that safe space. We don't want to feed the critic that wants to call you a quitter and lazy. We want the friend. We want the compassionate, like we're speaking to a child, like we're speaking to someone who is just growing, who is just learning, who is a blip in the radar of life, of their own life, that it's okay. It's okay to have gone to the thing and realized this isn't what we want to do. Okay, we pivot. We change it. We change plans. We quit this job. We get one that aligns better with us. That is so important in your journey. Being able to address yourself with kindness and to be able to make the changes that continue to feed the person that you want to be. Because it's not an end goal. It's just like it's a plan. It's progress. It's continuous progress. That will lead us into step 2. So that was all about how our self-compassion can help in our goal setting. And inevitably, when we change, when we set out to accomplish something and we set goals, there are going to be obstacles. There are just going to be things that get in our way. Even if we just need to get to the courthouse to file something for our business, there could be an accident on the way to the courthouse that we could get stuck in. Now we're at risk to miss our next appointment, so we have to skip it. But this still needs to get done. So now we need to address, the strategy. We need to address the problem. And this is just one small thing that might pop up in your journey. So overcoming obstacles with self-compassion is so key. I definitely felt the biggest change here when I stopped approaching obstacles with my critic in mind, because my critic would say, well, this obstacle is obviously a sign that we're not meant for this. We just need to stop. We need to leave. We need to not continue. And this is a sign. And I was like, well, what if it's not a sign of me needing to drop this and never come back? What if it's a sign that I need to grow a little bit before I can progress to the next level? You hit obstacles not so that you give up, but so that you grow, you learn, you adapt into the person that is able to defeat that challenge, to overcome the obstacle. We grow outside our comfort zone. If you're hitting an obstacle, it is an opportunity to grow into the person that can overcome it. So when we're using self-compassion in dealing with obstacles, we're going to be dealing with a lot of fears and a lot of, quote, I'm putting this in quotations, failures, a lot of, quote, failures. Because when you use self-compassion as the tool it was meant to be used as, you realize that failures are stepping stones. You reframe in your head, this obstacle that I've hit that has stopped my journey forward, it is not a failure. It is an opportunity for me to grow. It is an opportunity for me to become the person one step closer to the person I want to be. Listen, you want to be an amazing individual. You want to be someone who is up and motivated, productive, self-confident, self-worth, all up in themselves and bringing joy to them, to those around them. You want to be a badass. You want to be the best version of you. And right now we can acknowledge where we are, that we're a little bit we want to grow into that. So obviously we are not that. We are not quite there. We still embody those habits and those traits and those qualities. We just need to bring them out more. And that's what a quote failure, an obstacle, that's what a challenge is. An opportunity to use the skills and the abilities of the person that we want to be every day, because we have those. We need to use them more. We need to sharpen them. We need to just be consistent with them. We need to bring them out more. All those qualities we want to embody, we just need to use them and bring them out. So that's what every obstacle should be: an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to upgrade, to level up into that person, into who you want to be. Fear is a part of your journey. If you're feeling fear, you understand that you are outside of your comfort zone. Give yourself a minute. Understand that that is also you being a little stressed, being a little anxious. It's okay. Take a deep breath, feel it, and then do it anyway. Being brave is not being fearless. Being brave is feeling fear and still doing the thing, still doing the hard thing. It does not make you less. Honestly, I think it makes you more. But whether or not you feel that fear in the moment of doing the thing, the fact is you went out and you fucking did it. You did it. That's it. Bottom line, you did it. And in that same sense, like, you need to be able to self-reflect without judgment. You need to be able to hold, as we were speaking, that safe space to be able to evaluate yourself. Am I making the progress that I should be? Have I hit an obstacle and stopped? Am I continuing to revise my strategy? Am I continuing to improve, to achieve my goals? And it's okay to acknowledge, to think, oh shoot, you know what? Actually, I kind of dropped the ball. Like, life and school and work and kids and parents and partners and friends and so many social obligations. All of these things have just come up, and I haven't looked at my goals in like 2 weeks, in like a month. I have kind of dropped the ball. My progress has stagnated just due to life. And that's okay. We do not indulge the critic here. We do not say, well, this is what you get for trying to make a change, and who did you think you were, and this was never going to work, because that's absolutely not true. That is a false narrative that your fear wants to feed you. You do not have to listen to it. Okay? Because it is perfectly fine to fall off the wagon. And this is where self-compassion as a tool in overcoming these obstacles is so key, because you go to yourself, it's okay. It is okay that life has interrupted me. That is what life does. It is a constant go, go, go. It is a constant interruption. It's okay, because I'm going to get back on the wagon. I'm going to get back on the task. I'm going to get back into my habits and back into my workout routine and back into whatever I was doing. I'm going to go back. And when I go back, I can pick up pretty much where I left off. I might have, if it's a fitness thing, you might have gone back a little bit, but you're pretty much there. You can just pick it back up, and you can start, and you can go again. Consistency looks a little odd for some people. It's sometimes we drop off of things because life, and that is okay. And you need to be able to hold that space for yourself to acknowledge that that's okay, without the judgment of I'm not good enough, because you are. You're so much more than you think you are. You're on your journey. And it's fine to stumble. It is expected. It is natural. It is a part of the process to stumble, to fall. Self-compassion is what helps us get up. It's that hand we reach out to ourselves when we have fallen to get ourselves back up. That's all that is. That's all self-compassion is. The self-critic is kicking you while you're down, and self-compassion is just giving yourself a hand to get you back up, to get you back on the path. Which one would you prefer? Like, if you're down in the dumps because you have fallen off the wagon, you've fallen off the trail of what you were doing, would you prefer a kick to the butt and like a laugh, or would you rather someone just give you a hand up? Like, hey, buddy, that's okay. Like, it's icy out, it's muddy out. No worries. Like, I almost fell down. Here's a hand. Let's get to it. I would much rather the hand, personally. And it makes it so much easier when you use self-compassion, your resilience increases. Like resilience through kindness, self-compassion, being able to hold that space for yourself where it's okay to make mistakes and you will love yourself unconditional of what you are doing. That fosters perseverance during setbacks because you see that learning, that quote failure as a learning opportunity. It is not an indictment. It is not a reflection of your self-worth that you couldn't master cooking in like 2 weeks. It is not a reflection of your self-worth that you couldn't run, 5 miles in a week. It is not a reflection of you that you made a bad decision. You are not your choices. Those are outside of you. You can make a bad decision without being a bad person. And you can fall off your habits without being worthless. You can just be a normal person who got overwhelmed with life and just naturally had to take time off. That is okay. It is the way that we approach it that will dictate if we get back on the horse or if we just like call it quits. Because if the narrative I was feeding myself was, well, I'm just terrible at this thing. I obviously can't commit to it. I'm not good at it. It's taking too long to learn. Like I have done that to myself before. I have done that to myself and convinced myself that I didn't need to learn something, even though I wanted to learn it, just because I wasn't automatically amazing at it. Or because it took me, 2 months or 3 months to get to where I wanted to be because I kept having to take time off for, again, school, life, work, so many things. That is the false path. That is the path I feel to never actually achieving your dreams when all you want to do is punish yourself for the things that you haven't done. Because like, yeah, you dropped it for 2 weeks, but what about the 3 months you were doing it consistently before then? Do those not count? Is that not a reflection of you as well? You have to give yourself credit and be so kind to yourself when you inevitably face setbacks. Everybody does. It's a part of the human experience. We have so many things going on. It just will happen. But that brings us into point number 3, which is building momentum towards your personal change using self-compassion. There are daily practices that you can use to stay aligned with your self-compassion and with your journey using self-compassion. One that I really like is just daily check-ins. I have daily reviews. It's at night. It's part of my night routine. I have daily reviews where I ask myself, what did you do today that you are proud of? What did you do today that aligned with your goals, that aligned with your future self and your future just dream life? And I get to write that down and I get to appreciate myself for all the work I'm doing, for everything I'm putting in. Because a lot of times we will just be like, you just sat down on the couch all week. You didn't get anything done. And forcing yourself to have to list something will keep your eyes open and your mind open to all the things you're doing in the day, because at night you're going to have to write something down there. You don't get out of that one. That is not one that you get to skip like, whoops, I guess I didn't do anything today. No. If you took a minute to savor a moment by yourself outside, on the lawn, that is a moment that you get to detail for yourself. I aligned with my goals today by taking a moment for myself. If you worked out at a class or you took stretching, like whatever you've done that day, you get to write it down that you are proud. This is how you aligned with yourself today. Big or small, you get to write down as many as you want. I usually do 1 or 2. I have a regret one as well, something I wish that I had done differently. It allows me to reflect on any regret I could have over my actions that day so that I don't feel that same regret tomorrow. Like I regretted not being able to make time to read my personal growth book. So now I know that that is important to me. I will carve out time to read my books so that I don't feel like I'm not making progress towards it. You can also use this to reframe. Of course, I always reframe challenges. Whenever I'm faced with a difficult situation or something very unpleasant has happened, I am an overthinker, so I will think on it constantly and repeatedly for the next 5 to 7 business days. And when I find myself in those kind of situations with my brain just playing something on auto and I have no choice, there's no control over it, it just wants to keep replaying this bad thing that's happened. I go, okay, I'll play your game. But now we're gonna change the rules. It's gonna be a Rubik's Cube. We're gonna turn this situation inside out and all around as many times as it takes until I have found a lesson that I can take from this, a positive step forward, something that has reframed this into a growth for me, into a lesson for me. If I'm going to obsess on it anyway, it will be a lesson for me. You can also, when you're building that momentum towards personal change, identity shifts are amazing. And I would definitely make that identity shift to a growth mindset. So, adapting self-compassionate self-identity, like I am capable, I am growing, I am achieving my goals, I am doing my best, I am showing up for myself. And these are all based in fact. You are capable. You made it this far in life. You are capable. Trust me. And you are motivated because you're listening to this podcast. You are taking the things that you want to do seriously. You are compassionate because you are learning to hold a safe space for yourself. You are showing up for yourself right now, and every day that you chase after your dreams, that you go forth to do what you want to do in life. So take that. Don't just let those actions pass you by. Embody them. That is who you are. You are showing up as your best person every single day. You are proving to yourself every day that you are capable, that you are motivated, that you are challenged, that you are growing, that you are showing up for yourself. Embody those. That is you. That is your identity. That is how you are right now. That is your most comfortable. You understand? Like, this is you now. And daily practices, of course, I also very much advise using mindfulness. That has definitely been such a game changer for me as well, is using self-compassion. My apologies. Yes, and mindfulness. Learning to take a pause in between emotion and action. I'm not feeling good, so we're not doing anything today, or I'm feeling angry, so I'm going to start screaming at someone. Taking moments, that pause in between that emotion and that action, or when you are sitting there debating because there are multiple sides of you. You have the toddler screaming, I want an ice cream. And you have the practical side of you going, we need to get work done. And you have another side of you that's like, yep, how about we just sit on the couch all day? When you have multiple sides of you all screaming in a moment of, I want this, because you're just feeling so many conflicted emotions, taking that breath, taking that moment, taking that pause in between all of those emotions and what your actual action will be is so key. It's something I'm still learning. I don't think it's something that you stop learning or that you ever stop doing, but taking that breath and then thinking, I think to myself, every action is either me growing into the person I have always wanted to be, that I am, that I can be, or staying exactly where I am now. So there are multiple opinions going off. There are multiple feelings. There are multiple actions we can take in this moment, in this pause. And the action I take right now, the action I continue to feed, the pattern I continue to engage with, the habit I continue doing, that can either be me growing into the person I want to be and saying, we're going to get work done now, and ice cream on the couch after. Or going, it's ice cream on the couch now, and then we're too tired and lazy and groggy to do work later, so we don't get work done. And we continue to fall behind on work, on our business, on our plan, on our goal, on whatever we were planning to do, insert thing, goal here. We can either take the steps to be the person we want to be in that moment, or continue the habits that are keeping us right here in this moment. And I don't know about anybody else, but the scariest thing for me, my nightmare, is blinking and waking up and it's 10 years and I'm still in the exact same place. I'm still in the exact same house, in the exact same neighborhood, in the exact same state, in the exact same job. I am still here and I have not improved and I have not grown as a person. That is terrifying to me. That is my worst nightmare. That's my version of hell for sure. So we don't want to engage in that. So using that mindfulness, that meditative, it especially helped when I started to disassociate myself from my emotions. My emotions are a reaction. I am not them and they are not me. They do not control me. So I can use emotions as a source of motivation, like people get like real pounding, screaming, angry music during workouts because anger helps fuel energy and you can like pump out more. So you can use your emotions like using really motivational music while you're trying to get work done, or really pop songies when you're trying to get a workout. Like you can use your emotions to your advantage. And that's how I would encourage you to use them sometimes, especially when you are growing into the person you've always wanted to grow with and you've never really done any emotional regulation within yourself, which, yes, that was me. I had not done that for many, many years. When you have not done emotional regulation, you are very much tied to your emotions. Your emotions are what lead the action. And that's perfectly normal. Like a lot of people do that. I definitely did that a lot, way more than I should have. But that's where we want to bring in the pause. We want to regulate our own emotions so we can pause in between. I'm feeling lazy and I'm not getting any work done, because you can feel lazy and get work done at a slower pace, have a slow productivity day, but still get it done. There are things that just can't wait to the emotion. Like if we waited to do something amazing every time we felt inspired, we would get way less done. Sometimes you have to understand that the action brings the inspiration. Doing something motivational, like climbing that mountain, making that recording, writing that book, that's what brings the emotion to you. You understand? And that's how you can kind of realize it's not you and you are not your emotion. You're not tied to doing what your emotion is dictating. But it is also a hard process to do and like learn. So I totally understand that it's difficult. That's what we can do. Those are one of the tips. I would get into meditation. I would read up maybe a little bit on mindfulness. I would just learn some emotion regulation techniques. Those are all going to be helpful to be able to take that pause in between emotion and action and to help you have compassion with yourself. Like I understand that I'm not feeling up to this, but also make steps towards the person you want to be. So instead of doing 2-hour work block, I'm going to do like a 45-minute work block. And then I'm going to maybe like walk around for 15 minutes outside to just like get in touch with nature and just up my own mood booster. Nature is like everything for mood boosting. So yeah, it's about taking into account that, yeah, your emotion is there and it will make things easier or harder. And you can still be the person you want to be while honoring the emotions you have right now, while still acknowledging that you are not your emotions and your emotions are not you, but you can honor them. My apologies. We went on a little side chat there, but identity shifts. Identity shift is really key. I am the habit I am trying to emulate, and at the same time, I am not the emotions within me. I can empathize with them, I can be with them, but They don't control me. They can aid me. They are there to aid me. So, within all of this, in maintaining our momentum towards personal change, using self compassion, we want to balance, of course, always balance your accountability with that self kindness, that self compassion. And all this will boil down to is do not mistake self indulgence for self compassion. Always check in with yourself to make sure that you are not doing one when you mean to be doing the other. Because, of course, we have to stay accountable to our goals while practicing self compassion. So when things don't go as planned, it is very much that's okay. We're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to look up another strategy to make sure that the next time we go at this goal, we're prepared for this obstacle we seem to be hitting. It is not, wow, I ran into an obstacle pretty quick there. Well, I guess that's it for me. I'm kind of done. I'm going to sit on the couch and, I guess I'll think on what I might maybe do, but really I'm just going to chill and like hope it all works itself out. And granted, sometimes it does work itself out. Sometimes you do just need to take a step away from the problem. But at that point, just like pivot and start working on something else. Don't just completely abandon all of your plans and your goals just because one thing is not going right. But the main point here is that when keeping yourself accountable, it's just making sure that you are not falling into unsustainable self-indulgent practices. It is not, we don't have to do the hard thing because the hard thing is hard. It is very much, it's okay to take a step back from the hard thing, regroup, and then go at it again. But we need to keep doing the hard thing. We need to keep growing as a person if we want to reach the goals that we want to reach. Because I definitely want to reach the goals that I want to reach. I don't know about you, man. I don't want to let them slip through my fingers. And, it's 5, 10, 15 years later. And I'm like, whoops, wasn't I gonna do something with my life at some point? No, do something with your life right now. It's right now. Life is happening in this moment. Time is passing regardless of what you're doing. And it's not going to pause. It's so wild to me that there are habits that I have been doing for a year, 2 years, 3 years, simply because one day I got up and just started it. And it didn't always look consistent, especially at first. It was very much 1 week off, 1 week on, and just kind of until I got into the practice of it, until I gained that repetition and that mastery to continuously do it. Progress might look like we did it, twice this week. We're going to do it 3 times next week and 4 times the weeks after that and 5 weeks. And suddenly we're doing it. And we've been doing it for 3 weeks straight, for a year straight. The time is going to pass. So do the thing you want to do. Do it right now. Do it tired. Do it scared. Do it lazy. Just do it. I am the biggest advocate of a potato build. You can build a clock just using a potato. It is, find the bare bones of what you are wanting to do and just start little baby steps. Worry about your efficiency and mastery as you go down the line. But keep yourself accountable. Make sure you're still showing up for that thing you want to do. Don't let yourself down. If there's anyone in this world that you should hold a promise to, that you should not let down, it's yourself. You are worth the world to yourself. Prove that to yourself, that you are worth everything and above everyone. You are so deserving to give yourself everything that you freely give to others. All right, friendships, that is the end of the episode. I'm going to go ahead and just briefly recap all that we talked about. So, in this episode of harnessing self-compassion for your goal achievement and personal growth, we covered using self-compassion in goal setting, which is, why criticism doesn't work, setting compassionate goals, supportive, constructive goals for yourself, and flexibility in your growth and your mindset. A flexibility mindset is so key. And in that, using self-compassion for your goals and personal growth is using it to overcome obstacles. We are going to face challenges. Treat every challenge like a Rubik's Cube. Turn it around, flip it inside out and all around until you figure out a way to grow from it, a way to bring it into an advantage. Every quote failure is an opportunity for growth. So just make it. And of course, number 3, which is building that building that momentum towards personal change. You do that, of course, by shifting your identity, by doing daily practices, of course, that mindfulness, those daily check-ins, acknowledge that you are doing something amazing every day, something that you are proud of, and balancing that as self-accountability, making sure that we are not being self-indulgent, that we are sticking to our personal growth goals. Alrighty, friendships, that was it. That was episode 6 of season 1. It is so crazy that we have gotten this far. I am flying by the seat of my pants. I hope you are finding useful information in all of these episodes. If you want to suggest one, leave a comment. I will read it. I will make it. I will learn on it. I will practice it. And then I will come back with a video review on it. Promise. I am still getting those workbooks going. I am terribly sorry. Life has been kicking my ass a little bit, so I will get those to you just as soon as I possibly can. But thank you so much for your patience on this. I really appreciate it. Well, I try not to beat myself up too much about trying to get something done that I said I would get done and hasn't gotten done because life. Practicing what we're preaching, promise you, every day. So I'm so glad you guys could join me for this episode. I am so happy to have had you for our self-compassion mini-series. I do not quite know yet what the next mini-series is, but bet your bottom dollar it's going to be about growth and changing and just being the best you that you can be while acknowledging where you are and growing into your best self. So please come back next Monday to find out with me what our new theme is going to be for episode 7 of season 1. It is wild that we've gotten here. I am so happy to have each and every one of you be here and join me. So remember, we are growing. It is okay to make mistakes. We are all doing the best that we can. You are amazing. You are worthy. You are deserving. You are beautiful inside and out. Go chase those goals down. Go chase those goals down and kill it. You're doing amazing. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Bye.